It's about that time. Let's go. Welcome to the Clubhouse. This is Velas Weekly Digest. Every Wednesday, make sure that the time's set. Everything blockchain news on the day-to-day. Velas here to tell you, Shirley, take it away.
Hello, everyone. I am Sirli Valge, and on behalf of our team, welcome to the Velas Weekly Blockchain Digest. As every week, I am joined by a fellow lady from the Crypto Valley as my co-host, Delphine Forma, who's Chief Compliance Officer at DAL, board member of the Open WASP Association, and last but not least, a prominent voice in the global blockchain ecosystem. Thank you for joining me, Delphine. And I also have a new co-host, Pavel Yakovlev. He is a blockchain ecosystem builder and the managing partner at Anchor Strategy. And Delphine wants to introduce our today's special guest. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Sirli. So today we have Lance Morginn as our guest. He's the president of the Blockchain Intelligence Group. He has been a serial entrepreneur for over 20 years of experience founding, leading, and growing successful multi-million-dollar technology businesses from the ground up. For the little history, I met Lance back in 2018 here in Zug, and I was very impressed with the company that he has no Blockchain Intelligence Group and what they are doing. So thank you, Lance, for being here today with us.
Thank you, Delphine. Thanks for the great introduction.
Would you like to add a bit about yourself and about
sure.
the Blockchain Intelligence Group?
Sure, happy to. And nice to meet everyone on the call and anyone that's listening to it in the future. We've been in the cryptocurrency space since January of 2015, and we're a data analytics company, initially providing tools to law enforcement to help them perform their duties, and subsequently providing services to both financial organizations, be it anyone in the VASP arena, for risk scoring of addresses and transactions, as well as training. We're now seeing exchanges using our training as their in-house training when bringing people on to onboard them to bring them up to speed. And we even see firms such as the Big Four recommending to potential prospective hires that if they had our training, it would help further ensure their chances of getting employment. And we did hear back from them, and after they got their certification, they did get hired. And that's also even with we are a publicly traded company, so we're the only ones that are in the analytics space that have that extra transparency and accountability. And the financial industry at the banking level has also shown a lot of appreciation that we are audited and have accountability behind what we do. And I guess we also do have a forensics division. We've defended some of the largest exchanges on the planet. I'm not legally allowed to name them. We've also helped countries take their first cases to court. And we also do offer services to go to court to defend our data, which some of the other players in the marketplace do not. But collectively, I think we are the most comprehensive suite of compliance services for the crypto marketplace. And we do have another division that's being touted as the Coinbase of Canada, a company we acquired about a year and a half ago. So we are in more than one area of the big data area, but all related to crypto. And we're here to help shape and financial, give confidence, give regulators the understanding of what's possible so that they can write regulation that's logical. And so hoping to take 2 steps forward instead of 3 steps backwards, which we see happening in some countries, which I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about. But that's me in a nutshell. Based in Vancouver, British Columbia, we have employees on multiple continents. And yes, thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you so much. All right, so as every week, we start with the Bitcoin topic. And there has been a week of very long red candles, and things are not looking pretty for the Bitcoin price or overall crypto prices these past few days. With Elon tweets and an increase in the price volatility, a number of asset managers have actually urged caution with regards to cryptos. So UBS Wealth Management, PIMCO, T. Rowe Price and Glenmead Investment Management were among the firms that have expressed reservations in recent days about the potential of cryptocurrency investments. And China is reiterating the bans of 2013 and 2017. So what is your guess? Are we seeing a market meltdown and a bearish market coming, or is it a deep correction? Maybe Delphine, you want to start?
Yeah, on my side, I remain bullish despite all the recent news and trends. I mean, like, there's nothing new. I think there's just like a lot of fear, and people are just getting very nervous. Like, like all those news that you just mentioned, like China, there's nothing new there, and then the regulator warning about the risk of investing in crypto, nothing new. ECB also made a statement. They're all getting a little bit crazy, and Elon Musk, well, you guys know what I think about him, so I'm not gonna repeat myself from that. I do think like it's a good time for buying, and as I'm a holder. I deeply trust in the technology, and for me, this is just like a natural correction, makes the market healthy. We are still at very, very high price. I mean, like Bitcoin is now at like 37. This is really high, and Ethereum like 2.9 or 2.8. I mean, there's nothing to worry about at that point of time, I think.
Yeah, I would actually echo that as well. And to me, one of the most important indicators is companies like MicroStrategy that whenever we're seeing a dip, they just load up their bags again and again and again with a few tens of thousands of bitcoins, a few 100 million. I'm sure that our friends at 21 Shares are doing similar stuff, and a bunch of other companies, Grayscale. Even today, we've seen the price go down within one moment to 30, and immediately there was a massive, purchase signal, as such. But it's what is scary for me to see is that somebody like Elon, whatever strategy he is pursuing, and I'm sure we'll talk about it in the next few minutes, but just with one tweet wiping out about 40% of the price. And this is, some people have speculated that this is a four-dimensional chess move or something like this. I just feel that one person having this much effect on a market is something that I don't think it's sustainable, and it just shows the maturity of the market, right? We're just not there yet. You don't see that in traditional markets, maybe because of the market capitalization, or just how jumpy this market is, how many weak hands we have in this market. So not sure what to think of it. So I'm actually curious to hear what Lance thinks of what's been happening this week. And yeah, let's continue the conversation.
Sure. Thank you, Pavel. Well, I'm probably the true holder. If you look in Wikipedia, you'll probably see my picture there. I mean, I believe in where BTC is going, and rode it to 19, down to 4, back up to 64. And I think that it is a very easily manipulated price based on some big names, but I think that it's very short in time. I think um, I do know a number of companies looking at clean mining, so hopefully people hear more about that, and the Fiskars and Tesla of the world, just their comments just kind of disappear. Of course, it is really the only negative cloud I see over Bitcoin. But I think it can be overcome as time goes with different mechanisms for mining to take place. But it is interesting how quick it dropped. But I feel that if we scale out, that a year from now, that this will be just a small blip in the overall chart. I know our company um, is buying more during these times. So we hold quite a bit of Bitcoin to date, and we're also taking advantage of the dip and buying other currencies that our exchange require for float and as we grow. Um, So it'll be interesting to see how things play out. But I think that if we look at, there's other things coming into play. I mean, if we look at the markets in general, we look at Biden, he's at 4 months. We look at Yellen, even though she's the Treasury and it's private, to some of the uncertainties that are going on there with the stimulus. So that comes into play just in general for the markets, which has been putting pressure on the price. There's the rumors of further regulation coming out of the US on June 16th. I don't know how much further the government can really go outside of the travel rule, possibly some extra visibility on non-custodial wallets. But I think that what FATF has already put out is quite a bit for giving the visibility necessary behind transactions. And so you couple that along with Elon, and I do agree with Pavel that it could be a four-dimensional chess move going on here, and some other things going on behind the scenes. Electric cars are quite interesting in the sense of 17.5 tons of carbon the day that the car is complete is released, based on the amount of energy that's required to make the batteries and to build those cars. And now, granted, in the long run, they are better, but maybe there's also some distraction around that side of things. I mean, can't say for certain, but I think there's a culmination of things that have come into play, as well as the run up to 64 was quite dramatic and quick in the scheme of things, and a correction did need to occur. And you throw in Elon and Fisker and some of the other things I just mentioned, and I think that is the outcome of why we're sitting where we're sitting. But I think over the next 30 days, it could be a little unstable, but come middle of June to end of June, I think things will be all in the green. So let's see where it all goes.
Yeah, so diamond hands, as I've learned a new term today.
Diamond hands, okay.
So
I
hodl
like
as
it.
much as possible. Yeah, diamond hands, no weak hands.
No, I've got those and then some. Call it kryptonite hands.
Well, I mean, if I can add, like the traditional market are also a little bit collapsing, so there's also some correlation there, and also like with the reaction of the public, I think like we all come back to the same thing as usual. It's all about education. Like people following what Elon Musk is saying. It's a lack of education and lack of understanding of the market, lack of understanding of the technology in general and what is behind it. They are just following a leader where, I think they better follow like what the tech guys are saying and the other geek people on the market who have more knowledge than those billionaires. But yeah, my personal
So to
opinion on
touch
that.
upon the Elon statement, it was we are concerned about rapidly increasing use of fossil fuels for Bitcoin mining and transactions, especially coal, which has the worst emission of any fuel. Tesla will not be selling any Bitcoin, and we intend to use it for transactions as soon as mining transitions to more sustainable energy, which actually I checked the facts, and 76% according to ARK Investment analysts, 76% of Bitcoin miners are using renewable energy and like the excess renewable energy. So my take is that it has to do with CO2 credits on the Tesla sides, and maybe he wants to stay on completely safe and clean page in the credit market in the US, because apparently there are rumors Fiat Chrysler will not buy Tesla CO2 credits anymore as of this year. And also another fact that 6% of Tesla's revenue has been from selling these credits to Chrysler and Fiat, and for that you apparently need to be getting along with the regulators, so who, as we all know, are not such big fans of crypto, but that's a theory.
Mm-hmm.
And in other news,
And just before we close off, just 18 minutes ago, Elon tweeted, Tesla has diamond emoji, hands emoji. So
no
diamond
way.
hands.
All right. In other news, Libra is now a stablecoin company. So the DM Association, the Facebook-linked group building a stablecoin, is partnering with Silvergate Bank to launch a US dollar-backed stablecoin. DM Network US, which is a subsidiary of the association, will run the DM Payments Network and registers as a money services business with the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN, while Silvergate will be the formal issuer of the DM US dollar stablecoin. And Silvergate will also manage the reserve backing the token. So social media coin turned out to be stablecoin now.
Yeah, I have to say there's a few interesting developments in the US recently and this week. One that I found particularly interesting is that Bank of America has joined the Paxos Settlement Services, which is a platform using blockchain technology to achieve same-day settlement of stock trades, which is a really, really cool thing to do. So the US bank has joined Swiss financial giant Credit Suisse and the Japanese bank Nomura Holding on Paxos Trust Network. That was announced on Monday, and I think that's really good news for the industry, and like this kind of news should be maybe highlighted a little bit more in the news. Pavel?
Sorry, I dropped off there for a second.
Okay, Lance, do you have any take on that?
I do. And, I do agree with Shirley that there's more at play here than meets the eye. I think a lot of companies, including our own, as I said, we continue to buy BTC and to measure against inflation. More ETFs are coming online, allowing for an easy on-ramp. And, and as stated, in the next 12 months, I think that we won't even notice this. But there are other things that are transpiring that really should be coming to the forefront of news that, for whatever reason, just overloaded, I guess, looking. And also I think a bunch of people in the news sector are having trouble sort of looking at everything and figuring out what should they be focusing on, other than just sort of the Elon Musks of the world and sort of whatever objectives that they might have in play. Yeah, no, so I'll pause there and I'll turn it over to Pavel and hear his feedback.
I actually would love to hear from our audience because we haven't engaged them. We have Katie, we have Ekaterina, Matt, and obviously everybody else, Georg, Jesse, Michael, Martin. If you'd like to participate, please put up your hand and then we'll get you to the stage. I think there's a few things that we can, especially Katie, has pretty much a transatlantic understanding of how things work in crypto. So
I see George here has his hand up.
all right, let's get him in.
Lance, can you give him a speaking opportunity because you started the room?
Sorry, my mistake. It's my
You
first
have the
time.
authority for that.
Invite to speak. There we go. I didn't mean to jump the gun on you guys. I was didn't want to be late.
Just to bring it back to the discussion about Elon Musk and what Shirley said about the actually it's Stellantis now because they joined together with the PSA group, the Citroën, Peugeot, and group. So basically, the merger was between Fiat Chrysler and them. They've actually decided they will not use any more of. They will try to get their CO2 certificates and everything done in-house this year. But what's interesting is actually that in China, Volkswagen actually needs to buy certificates from Tesla for the Chinese market. So I don't know if that somehow have some tying into Elon's BTC strategy, the fourth dimension of it. Who knows? But just to give you some input on that, and you can read all about it on teslarati.com.
Oh, thanks. My mom just wrote me in WhatsApp like 10 minutes ago that she heard that from the news, and I was like, huh? China? What has this to do with that price drop? But yeah, it can be the indicator.
Yeah, who would have known that the news outlets are spreading fear, uncertainty, and doubt? It's Yahoo Finance is one of the worst proponents. Whenever there's a correction in the crypto market, feels like there's some kind of a party is being thrown at the Yahoo finance department to celebrate it.
All right, so thank you for your insights. Lance, I am sure you've seen recent news about Elliptic mapping out the Bitcoin that was stolen in 2016, while Crystal Blockchain says it has located the Bitcoin address that dark-side hackers used to collect ransom from the colonial pipeline. What is your take on these developments? And in general, is crypto a safe haven for money launderers, or will blockchain technology allow us to have more transparency in how the money moves?
Yeah, well, we did map out that case, and most of the funds were sent to a Wasabi coin join to be mixed up and, for lack of a better word, spit out on the other side. And so we came up with the same results. We were able to locate the dark side hackers' wallets as well. And unfortunately, the criminal element is always first to exploit technology. It takes time for counter technology, law enforcement, and regulators to catch up. This is exactly what we're seeing today. Technology like what we develop at Big in the hands of law enforcement has made crypto ransom payments much more risky than it used to be. And the blockchain never forgets. So if you can de-anonymize a person or entity immediately, that is great. But the record is permanent, meaning de-anonymizing a person a year or two later is still possible. So the one thing is that of course, criminals, as we pointed out here, are always trying to adapt and be clever and stay on top of what companies like ours do. But it's a matter of time where, with technology and AI and other things, that we will be able to get that extra visibility. Will we ever catch it all? Probably not. But how many of those high-level money launderers are that experience to be able to always stay out of the limelight, no matter how much we improve? I think it's very minuscule. But yeah, there's definitely still work to be done because of how rapid this space is moving. And we look at the whole DEX market and Uniswap and CoinJoin and these kinds of things. It's very interesting, and we are working with George Mason University on different types of algorithms to look at reconnecting inputs to outputs from mixers, having some success. We'll see how that continues to play out. But I guess that's one thing that does make this very interesting is always trying to see what the next sort of sneaky avenue an illicit or nefarious actor will use.
Yeah, on that, Lance, I would be curious of your opinion about what is next.
Well,
Because you mentioned CoinJoin, and yeah, I would be interesting to know what you think is going to happen.
yeah, I mean, it's I don't know over and above everything that I've listed what could be next. I mean, those are all some pretty interesting mechanisms to move things around and to make it quite tricky. Or we look at the Lightning Network and how all the transactions can happen off chain, and all we see is the endpoints once they're connecting. So there is certain technologies out there today that are going to make things for companies like ours quite challenging, and some of them will make it probably impossible. And then it's going to come back to regulation and how much can they enforce things to try to remove those really optimal money laundering environments. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, do you think the criminals are tech savvy enough to go use the Lightning Network?
Well, I wouldn't put it past them for sure, but how many? And is it the most? I mean, for the level of nefarious activity we would talk about, such as terrorism or child exploitation, I don't think Lightning Network will work for that. That will be used sort of for more lower level crimes. But I think that the ones that are on different continents will have to stay in the environments more of what we're talking about here, and therefore, I do think that as time goes, that some visibility will be offered. It might not be 100% accurate, but it might be enough to allow law enforcement to be able to do the next step in their investigation, whatever that may be, to try to match that nefarious actor or entity along with what they've seen in the crypto space, and as well other things that they might have had from encrypted cell phone communication to fiat transfers, etc. And so, culmination of things together could then help catch them. Um, Unfortunately, the crystal ball is only so clear, and I can't see too far. But we have made some significant strides in overcoming other nefarious types of activity, and as time goes, we hope to continue to achieve those goals.
Thank you, Lance. Delphine, so we can jump smoothly over to compliance and legal side of crypto. What are the most recent and important news from this past week?
So this week, not too much, but still a few things happen. So let's start with the Argentina Tax Authority. They have ordered crypto exchange to file transaction report. So this is going to be quite heavy, I think, for crypto exchange. Then obviously India, as usual, we can't have like a podcast without having India in there. So Indian crypto traders are receiving account closure note from banks and exchanges are seeing issue with banks transfer. But on the India saga, there was something else that just come up today. So apparently the government of India may be forming a panel of experts to examine how to regulate crypto, which would be quite a good news for the industry in India. So a lot of things happening there. As usual, always they say
A lot
A,
of
B, C.
controversial things.
Yeah, we never know what's going to happen, right? It's always full of surprise. Yeah, and then we have cryptocurrency miner in Iran who use household electricity for their operation will face heavy fines, according to the country energy ministry. So no, not only we have India for the saga, we have Turkey, and we have Iran now coming back here in all this interesting legal news, right? Then we have still in Iran, Sina Estavi, who is a businessman who bought an NFT of Twitter, of the tweet of Jack Dorsey for 2.9 million. Apparently, he has been arrested in Iran, according to some deleted message post from his Twitter account. So let's see what's going to happen there. I'm kind of like wondering what's going on. Then you have Ukraine, which is one of the most active crypto nations in the world, especially in terms of tech and developer, is trying to be a dream jurisdiction for crypto business. So the legislator and local crypto community are working together on a package of law for the crypto system, but on an international level, I think it's going to be very hard for them because of sanction, reputation, corruption. They're going to have to overcome all that. So even if they have a very nice regulation and legislation that is crypto friendly, I think for them to become like an international nation in the game, it's going to be really, really hard.
I agree.
And then last but not least, we have DigiNext custodial arm called DigiVault, who has won a regulatory approval from the UK FCA. And I think it's one of the first companies in the UK that finally got an official approval from the FCA and is going to be registered as a custodian wallet provider under the AML regulation. And I think this news is a really big one because FCA has been like incredibly slow. Like this has been insane crazy, but that's a good news. They're moving.
No, that's super exciting, and if I can pick and choose amongst those news, there's definitely positive developments. Ukraine, and if we're particularly focusing on some of the country developments, to me it feels a bit strange to see countries like Iran and India and Turkey, Argentina, cracking down on crypto, creating these difficulties for companies to operate, right? Adding administrative burden, trying to regulate or ban things entirely. And to me, this is, it's sad because developing countries could have leveraged or still have the opportunity to leverage innovation to their benefit, and unfortunately, they choose not to shy away. Kind of trying to create more roadblocks than the opportunities, so to say. And being in the crypto valley, I think my message to those countries would be quite simple. Have a look at Switzerland, that has a light touch approach to regulation, that has embraced the technology, and just there was a number of very exciting news in the past week coming out of Switzerland. For example, Temenos, a provider of banking software, teamed up with Taurus to give clients access to digital assets. So things are happening on the infrastructure level, and that's super exciting. Valor, Johan Batterstrom, who is also behind Nortide Capital. So his latest company, and we have an episode on the White Spaces coming up. Shameless plug with him. So they've just launched a couple new ETPs, exchange traded products that are tracking Cardano and Polkadot, and they're very happy to be in Zug because they're able to do this type of innovation here. And then Signum, right, are one of our crypto first digital asset banks, will offer custody and banking services for internet computer utility tokens. That's basically becoming the first bank to do so. So all of these exciting developments in a small country in the Central Europe. So yeah, embracing the technology, embracing interesting developments. So yeah, I'm excited about that, and I'm hoping more countries will follow suit.
Yeah, and further to that, Pavel, I mean, it's we've always said that, whenever we show our platform to traditional compliance officers, they said, "Wow, I can't imagine how much visibility is possible in crypto," and that they'd love to have the dashboards that we can create for tracking BTC or tracking Ethereum or you name it in the fiat world, and how it can go from institution to institution and be able to see, or from wallet to wallet. Yeah, it's and of course, Delphine, still the biggest form of money laundering today is cash, and will be forever. But some of the other things that I saw around the regulatory side of things. China cracked down a bit more. We said at the beginning of the call, saying speculative trading is seriously infringing on financial order. Inner Mongolia enforces a ban on cryptocurrency mining amid tightening regulation. South Korea government continues to scale back on anti-crypto rhetoric, so that's kind of good. Of course, Texas lawmakers passed a bill to give digital currencies legal status. What else? Turkey started monitoring crypto transactions worth more than £868 or $1,200. Bosnia is preparing to draft a bill to regulate cryptocurrencies, and here in Canada, we're very close to seeing regulation to help grow the cryptocurrency market, and we've now been working on getting the first license here for a couple of years, and working very closely with our regulators to help shape what regulation can look like. And then, of course, we do have Ontario, which is sort of the bigger province, so it carries a bit more weight. But I think everyone's getting quite aligned on things, and so some countries definitely are embracing things, and hopefully others will follow suit and seeing what can be possible.
Yeah, we also at Velas, based in Switzerland, with the big developers team in Ukraine, remain committed to the cause and keep building awesome things and going forward, fully decentralized as long as it's possible. And stay tuned for more announcements from our end, as we're fully onboarding new projects to our chain and announcing our grants platform for new projects wanting to shift or build on Velas chain. And on this note, thank you so much for joining us, Lance, Delphine, and Pavel. If anyone wants to weigh in, you have the last chance. Feel free to raise your hand. Anyone from the audience? Lance, do you see anyone?
I don't see anyone. No, keeping my eye open here.
Then you can always contact us on LinkedIn.
Oh, Katie's got
And
Katie's got her
Oh,
hand up.
great.
Just one
All
second.
right, Katie. Oh, and she left.
No.
No, come
Oh,
back,
she's
Katie.
back. Let's see. Invite to speak.
Hi, Katie.
Hi,
Shirley.
Katie.
Hi, Pavel, Delphine, Gorge, and of course, Lance. Great to hear you, Lance. I was thrilled when I was invited to hear that you were speaking today.
Thank you.
I don't have any particular questions other than, I'm an old fan of yours since I first met you many years back, perhaps the same time that Delphine had met you too, back in Zug on perhaps one of your first visits or series of visits.
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating, Lance, always to hear, where you're going with your deep research with the teams. And I think it's fascinating that, there's always, like you said, the technology is allowing, the black hats really to always try and keep a step ahead. And it's companies like yours that, are not far behind or trying to actually snare them. So it's great to hear the work that you're doing and the collaborations that you have to keep this crypto community on a safer edge. So great to hear from you, Lance.
Thank you, Katie. Yes, thank you so much. I hope you're well with your new position.
Yes, I'm managing to fill some big shoes, but it's lots of fun. Can't say I would want to change this at all. It's an exciting new role, but great to hear from you, Lance, and thanks, Pavel, for reminding me to show up to this really great session today.
Yes,
Thank you.
we're on every Wednesday at 6 p.m. with the industry, very interesting people from the industry. So feel free to join, and thank you. For bigger selection and more in-depth blockchain news, please visit velas.com/digest. And this is it. Also join our house on LinkedIn, the official Velas Club. And I want to thank you again, my co-hosts Delphine and Pavel. Thank you, Lance, and all the others from the audience who weighed in. My name is Sirli Valge, and thank you for listening.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Lance.
everybody.
Thanks,
Have a good
everybody.
evening.
Thank you.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye.